the final match between Georgia Tech and UC Davis. It's all gonna come down to this final solve. And just like that, UC Davis takes the whole thing. Berkeley shows San Diego they're not here to mess around. And Andrew takes that solve from Hamza. What a match. Welcome everybody to this round of 32 matchup of the Collegiate Cubing Championships. We have an excellent matchup for you guys tonight between the number 8 Penn State and the number 25 UCF. My name is Martin and I'll be your host this evening. And just to remind you, we'll be doing a best of 3 sets with each set as a head-to-head matchup of a best of 7 solves. First team to win 2 sets will win this match and move on to the next round of the tournament. Now folks, this is our final week of first round matchups. We have this matchup tonight and then one more on Saturday, and that'll conclude the first round of our tournament. So we are gearing up to begin the second round. It's an exciting time, folks, to be a part of the Collegiate Cubing Championships. We're going to try to get this match underway quickly for you guys. Let's take a second to meet our first 2 competitors. They're on the left side of your screen competing for Penn State. We have Alfonsus, averaging around 12.08. And then on the right side of the screen, competing for UCF, we have Blake with an average of around 17.04 seconds. As you might have noticed by the seeding as well, Penn State is coming in with a pretty significant advantage in terms of team averages. They have about a 4 or 5 second edge on UCF. So we'll see how that plays out tonight. Penn State won the coin toss earlier, so they will be starting. It looks like Alfonsus is getting ready to get this matchup underway. We'll see how Alfonsus sets the tone for Penn State. This matchup looks like he's going to be starting on white cross here. No live timer for Penn State, so we got that reference timer down there at the bottom of your screen. A little tough to see what was going on there, but it's going to be a 9.88 for Alfonsus. Pretty strong start. Definitely going to be a little tough for Blake here. Now we've seen this with some of the other more uneven matchups this first round, that the stronger team has been trying to set a tone for the top 4 teams who had a bye in the first round. They're going to be trying to show everybody who's boss. With Vanderbilt a couple weeks back, they had a breakout matchup against Alabama and set themselves up to be ranked number 1 overall in our tournament so far. And I think Penn State is going to be looking to maybe upset them this evening. They have a pretty good chance to do that. Blake coming in with an 18.19. So Alfonsus takes that first solve. But yeah, Penn State coming in with their seeded number 8 in the tournament overall. Vanderbilt seeded number 9, and they kind of blew everybody's expectations for them. Very, very quick solving. And in fact, I think they have 2 competitors in the top 5 for individual rankings so far. So Penn State definitely eyeing them down. And if they win this matchup, they'll be going on to face Vanderbilt in the next round. It'll definitely be an exciting matchup that you won't want to miss. But Blake is getting ready to start off the second solve for UCF here. Looks like he's going to be starting on white cross. Nice slow controlled turning. Going into PLL now. To be a pretty good solve for Blake, and that's going to be a 17.27 for Blake. We'll see how Alfonsus responds to Blake's 17.27. Okay. Looks like Alfonsus is eyeing down white cross here. Fairly smooth F2L, just a couple of pauses, but going into OLL now. Finishing up with Y perm, I think. That's going to be a 12.14, I think that was from Alfonsus. Yep, it's going to be a 12.14, so Alfonsus takes that second solve as well. But a little bit slower than his first solve. We'll see if Alfonsus is able to keep up that sub-10 thing he had going with the first solve. And as you might be able to tell, Alfonsus is Penn State's slowest solver, but he's averaging around that low 10, high 9 range. So we're going to see some quick solving, especially from Penn State tonight. We have a quick solver from UCF as well. So we'll see what they're able to pull out later on in this matchup. Alfonsus starting on white cross here on his third solve of this first matchup. Going into OL now. U-perm. Oh, I think that's going to be a DNF. Oh, it's going to be a +2, excuse me. So it's going to be 9.38 from Alfonsus, but 11.38 with the +2. That could have been disaster for Alfonsus. Looks like he was saved. I was awfully close there. With that +2, it leaves the door cracked a little bit open for an excellent solve from Blake here to maybe take a solve for UCF. Thought about doing a quick inspection. Going to pick up the cube and look at it again. It's going to be white cross here from Blake. Pretty confident that that's starting. Like finishing up F2L now, going into OLL. Oh, really good pace so far. Like having some trouble with that G perm there. He's able to finish it off with a 17.67 from UCF. So Alfonsus takes a third solve for Penn State. Now he just needs one more solve to take this first set and get Penn State up on the board early. So Blake looking to maybe take one solve from Alfonsus, get some points up on the board. Gonna be a quick inspection from Blake going in with white cross here. Very confident to start off with. Hopefully he can carry that on. Going into OLL sub 10, finishing up with a U-perm. It's gonna be a great solve from Blake. So 12.35. Fantastic solve from Blake to come in with that fourth solve there with the 12-second solve. Definitely putting a little bit of pressure on Alfonsus. He started off with that 9.88, and he got that 9.38 with the +2. So Alfonsus still has to stay locked in to respond to Blake's fantastic 12-second solve here. See how Alfonsus responds to this. Going in with white cross here. Very smooth, quick F2L going into PLL already. Very fast, but definitely some lockups in PLL. I think he's going to take it. Looks like he does with a 9.43 there. So that's going to be Alfonsus' fourth solve one of that set. So he takes a point for Penn State early on. Excellent try by Blake, especially with that 12-second solve. But Penn State comes out on top early on. Let's take a quick look at the solves of that match. Alfonsus starting off strong with that 9.88. Gets an unfortunate +2 there in the third solve of that first set, but rounds it off with another sub 10. Blake starting off a little bit slow, but then he gets a fantastic 12.35. Puts a little bit of pressure on Alfonsus, but he's able to respond to it. Fantastic solve from Blake there. He gets a 16 average. Alfonsus with the 10.71. So maybe wanted to see a little bit faster from Alfonsus there. Excellent solving from Blake though. But Penn State gets out on top early. It takes a point for the home team there. And they're going to be up 1-0 on UCF. Going into this second set. Let's take a quick second to meet our next competitors. They're on the left side of your screen for Penn State. We have Graham with that 9.40 second average. Down on the right side of your screen for UCF, we have Alex with that 14.58 second average. Now, some of you guys may recognize Alex. He he has a YouTube channel, Cubing with Alex, with about 5,000 subscribers, I think. So fantastic channel. Definitely go subscribe to him right after this matchup. So as you can see here, it's going to be about another pretty significant advantage for Penn State here with about that 5-second average edge over UCF here, but a little bit less than we saw between Alfonsus and Blake. So Graham definitely going to have to stay locked in here going into this second set.
Like that.
We'll see what Penn State is able to do, how UCF responds.
Okay.
UCF down one set. I think Alex is going to be starting off. All these competitors get their stuff figured out. Let's take a quick second. I wanted to show you guys this a little bit earlier, but I forgot to. Here are our top 5 solvers and teams so far in the competition. You can see Vanderbilt coming out on top with 8.91 second team average. Got a couple of 7-second solvers there from Vanderbilt as well. Looks like Penn State's going to be eyeing down that number 1 spot that Vanderbilt's holding with that 8.9 second average. We'll see what they're able to do tonight. It's definitely going to send a message to Vanderbilt no matter what, because if they win this matchup, that they'll be going up against Vanderbilt in round 2. So Alex is going to be starting off for UCF here. We'll see what he's able to do. Going in with white cross here. Orange cross, I think. Maybe he misinspected some things. Yeah, I think Alex solves Rue. That's my bad. A little bit frustrated. I think that's going to be about a 17-second solve. It's like a 17.38 there.
Yeah, 1738.
From Alex. Definitely saw a little bit of frustration there. Hopefully he can shake that off going into the next solve. We'll see how Graham responds to that 17-second solve from Alex. Shouldn't be too tough for Graham, but anything can happen, so he'll have to stay locked in here. Graham starting off on white cross here. Very quick F2L going into Ola around 5 seconds there. Got a couple lockups in PLO, but he's going to come out with a 9.21. So he takes that first solve from Alex. So Penn State coming back out up on top early over UCF here. Going back to those stats real quick, so you can see Vanderbilt with that 8.91 second average. Alfonsus came in with that 1071 average. So probably looking for a low 9, maybe an 8-second average here from Graham. Starting off with a low 9 solve. Gonna have to speed it up a little bit, but Graham's coming in with about a 946 average under normal conditions. So we'll see how he's able to manage that. Graham starting off on white cross here. All around 5 seconds. Looks like that was an N perm, I think, but he gets an 8.53. That's just what we needed to see from Graham. Setting the bar high for Alex. Definitely going to be a little tough for him to respond to that. Alex starting off the second solve of this second set. Be a pretty good solve from him. Looks like he's pretty happy with that. It's going to be a 12.08 from Alex, it looks like. So not too bad for Alex, but Graham is still going to come out on top, taking a second solve for Penn State. UCF probably sweating a little bit here. Okay. Penn State just 2 solves away from taking this whole matchup. We'll see if Alex is able to lock in, maybe take a couple of solves from Graham. Maybe there's some ruse solutions that Graham is not able to tap into that Alex can use to take a couple of solves. But Alex is going to be starting off the third solve of this second set. Be a little bit slower. Listen up that final step. Comes out with a 15.66.
You got the time.
Probably not quite what he wanted to see. See how Graham responds to that 15.66. Shouldn't be too tough for him. See, looks like he's looking at white cross maybe. Had a couple lockups there in OLL, finishing off with a U perm that looked like. And that's going to be a 7.92 from Graham. So an excellent solve. He's shaving off about half a second per solve so far. So in terms of the broader scope of the competition, if Penn State is looking at Vanderbilt or maybe UT Austin for some of those top ranked positions in our competition so far, Graham definitely doing a fantastic job. From Alfonsus, we were expecting about a low 7, but he got that, high 10. He got the high 10, so Graham making up a little bit of that. See how Graham starts off this fourth solve. Looks like he's going in with white cross. Another 5-second cross in F2L. Fantastic finish. It's 7.33 from Graham. This is shaping up to be an excellent average from him. Definitely going to be tough for Alex to respond to this. But if Graham wins this solve, Penn State will take this set and they'll have won this matchup. We'll still do the third set either way so we can have a better ranking of all the teams. So everybody gets a chance to compete. Alex going in for his fourth solve of this second set. Like, camera froze a little bit here. Hopefully we can get this back up for you guys soon.
Oh. Do you know?
All right, well,
Yeah,
looks like it's gonna be a second on UCF here. So once we hear word that they're back up online, let's take a second to look at this bracket here. As you can see, winner of this matchup, which is looking like it's probably going to be Penn State, going up against number 9 Vanderbilt. So number 8 versus number 9. Number 9 in terms of seeding. That's going to be, Vanderbilt is still ranked number 1 overall in terms of averages from the first round. So definitely gonna be an exciting matchup in round 2 there. And we just have one more matchup after this on Saturday between NYU and Auburn. Now, I don't think we've told anybody this yet, but Auburn had to make a last-minute substitution. I think their number 2 guy was swapped out for someone who is about 3 or 4 seconds slower. So that number 14, number 19 matchup is actually going to be a lot closer than it originally seemed to be. Now, maybe you guys saw NYU got interviewed by the Cubicle the other day. Definitely go check it out on the Cubicle YouTube channel. Fantastic interview. But NYU grinding out the hard work, put in some tough legwork there to try to prepare for that matchup. Looks like UCF is back. We'll see what the official time is. Look to maybe be around that 13 or 14 second range. I'm not sure if it went all the way up to 18. We'll see if we can get a word back from the judge here before too long. Looks like that's going to be a resolve, actually. Looks like Alex, we're going to be doing a resolve for both competitors just to ensure the fidelity of the competition. So that 7.33 from Graham is actually not going to count towards his average. That would have been a fantastic solve for Graham to have in his statistics. Fantastic for Penn State as well, if they're looking to eye down the number 1 or number 2 spot here in the overall team rankings.
You too, our friend. Okay, I'm gonna solve this.
So good news for Alex. Probably a little bit unfortunate for Graham there and for Penn State. 733 was a pretty fantastic solve, and that would have put Graham up there for individual solves. But we'll see if he's able to pull off maybe another low 7. I think we've maybe had 1 or 2 6s this whole competition, so maybe he's able to bank in a 6-second solve. We'll see. This is going to be the 4th solve of the second set between Penn State and UCF. Graham taking a look at white cross, it looks like.
Yep.
See what he's able to do here. Maybe about a sub 5 F2L and cross, and he gets a 7.25. Looks like I spoke too early. First attempt at the 4th solve, Graham got a 7.33. Now he comes with a 7.25, even faster, so that's going to be even better for Penn State and for Graham. Fantastic solving. That looked to be a sub 5 cross and F2L. I think Graham averaged around that 5-second for cross and F2L this whole set so far, but Alex starting off his 4th solve here of the second set. Having some troubles with look ahead, but going into that final step, it's going to be a 16.09 for Alex. Probably not quite what he wanted to see, but Graham able to comfortably take the 4th solve of the second set. Putting Penn up there on top, giving them 2 sets, excuse me. So they have officially won this matchup. We'll move on to the next round of the competition to face number 9 Vanderbilt. We'll still play out the 3rd set just so everybody gets a chance to compete. We'll have a better ranking for all the teams. But just taking a quick look at these solves from this past set. Alex looking at a mean of 15.3. Probably not quite the solves he wanted to see here. Still not too bad. He got that 12.08. Pretty good for Alex. Graham, on the other hand, started off slow with a 9.21 and then getting faster and faster every solve by about half a second there. Rounding off the set with a 7.25, he comes in with an 8.23 mean. So if you remember the statistics we were looking at earlier, definitely looking good for Penn State to assert their dominance there in the top 5 teams of the competition so far. It'll come down to this final set to see what their ranking is. Hopefully we can get this next set underway quickly. Let's take a second to meet the next competitors. There on the left side of your screen for Penn State, we have Toby with that impressive 767 average. There on the right side of your screen for UCF, we have Sonny with a pretty good average of 9.29. This is going to be our closest set yet. We'll see if Sonny is able to take a couple of solves there on Toby. So you can see Toby has 5 medals to Sonny's 11. Looks like Sonny might have a little bit more competition experience. And we saw a couple of times earlier in round 1 of our competition that a couple of sets, maybe a few solves, came down to competition nerves and how the competitors were able to handle their nerves. So we'll see if that plays a factor here. Toby starting off for Penn State in this final set. Like Toby's looking at yellow cross here. Finishing off with a G perm. Looks to be around a 7-second solve. We'll see what the official time is. Going to be an 8.15 from Toby. Fantastic start. We'll see how Sonny responds with wearing a fantastic t-shirt here. Sonny looking at white cross, it looks like. Sonny's first solve. You're going to start off with red cross here. 7-second F2L and cross. narrowly avoids a +2 there. You get a 10.82. Pretty good start for Sonny as well, but Toby takes that first solve by about 2 seconds there. So Sonny going to be starting off the second solve of this final set here between Penn State and UCF. Sonny looking at red cross again, it looks like. Excuse me, blue cross. Looks like he's going to be doing yellow cross. And my colors all mixed up here. A 5-second F2 cross. Looks like there's going to be a sub 10 from Sonny here. He gets a 9.71. Fantastic solve for Sonny. Toby going to have to lock in here, make sure he can maintain that sub 9 average. We'll see what he's able to do. Toby looking at maybe blue cross here. Looks like he's going to be doing yellow cross. Same as Sonny. See who can do it faster. Around a 6-second F2L and cross. 779 from Toby. So fantastic solve. Excuse me, 754 from Toby. Fantastic solve from him. Toby takes the second solve. Things looking bright for Penn State as they're eyeing down Vanderbilt here in round 2. Things looking pretty good for them. Toby's going to be starting off the third solve of this set. We'll see what he's able to do. So we had a miss scramble here from Toby, so hopefully we'll be able to get this third solve underway before too long. Looks like it was another miss scramble. Third time's the charm. But yeah, now Vanderbilt looking to face down Penn State here in round 2. Both teams looking formidable. They're going to be tough teams to be going into the further rounds of the competition. Definitely going to be tough to take either Penn State or Vanderbilt down. Hopefully Sonny is able to take a solve on Toby here. Definitely going to be tough. We'll see what Sonny is able to pull out. Looks like it's finally going to be the right scramble here for Toby. He's looking to start off the third solve of this final set. He's probably looking at yellow cross here. Going into OLL around 5 seconds there, finishing up with, I think that was a G perm. It's going to be a 733 from Toby, so another great solve for him. See how Sonny is able to respond to that 733. Sonny starting off on yellow cross here, it looks like. Went into PLL already. Oh, looks like he might actually have a chance here. But he gets an 8.32. So a fantastic solve from Sonny, but not quite enough to take down Toby. So Sonny looking to start the fourth solve of this final set. Toby just one solve away from sweeping UCF. We'll see what Sonny's able to pull out. Maybe put a little bit of pressure here on Toby. Sonny looking out white cross here. Going into all around 5 seconds, it looks like. He's going to finish with a 9.86. We're not quite we wanted to see, to put a little bit of pressure on Toby, but not too shabby nonetheless. Toby looking to respond to Sonny's 9.86. We'll see what he's able to do. He's looking at a pretty good average at the moment. We'll see what he pulls out for probably this final solve going into PLL already. It's going to be a 6.89 from Toby. That may actually be our best solve of the competition so far. So Toby taking that final solve and that final set for Penn State. The complete shutout for UCF. Penn State holding UCF to 0 solves this whole competition. You can see everybody waving goodbye. Valiant effort from UCF, but Penn State gonna come out on top 3-0. Let's take a quick look at that set real fast. So Sonny starting off pretty good, right around what we expected to see from him, that high 9, starting off with a 10.82, getting an 8-second solve in there and a couple of high 9s for a 9.68 average. Toby starting off a little slow with that 8.15 and then coming back with a couple of mid to low 7s and finishing off with a high 6, so a fantastic solve from him. And that's going to be very good news for Penn State here. And in fact, I think that's going to put Toby on the top of the individual leaderboard as well. We pull up those stats real fast. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Toby coming up out on top with a formidable lead here in the individual rankings with that 7.48 average. I don't think our team rankings here have been completely updated yet, but I think Penn State is probably going to come in and take that number 1 spot from Vanderbilt. Definitely a bit of an upset here. Definitely going to be tough for Vanderbilt moving ahead. But I think that's going to finish off our competition this evening. Take one more quick look at the bracket before we head out. Oh, get this figured out. There we go. So Penn State going on to face number 9 Vanderbilt, but it looks like Penn State might be coming in with a bit of an advantage here. And now we're going to be moving on to round 2 at the end of this week. And we'll be streaming that matchup here on Saturday. It's going to be Auburn versus NYU. If you missed it earlier, Auburn had to come in with a last-minute substitution. So it was going to be a number 14 versus number 19 matchup. Auburn coming in with a clear advantage. Is actually going to be much, much closer. So you'll definitely want to tune in for that one. Also go check out the Cubicles interview with NYU. Fantastic interview on the Cubicles YouTube channel. But congratulations to Penn State. They're going to be moving on to the next round of the competition to face off number 9 Vanderbilt. Thank you everybody for watching. This is going to be the end of this matchup. This is Martin signing off.